what I've always loved about your stance on music was that you always made it cheap for people to get it, like $7 albums or $5 cassettes and a $7 T-shirt or whatever it was. You always made it cheap. Now, a couple years ago, Radiohead put out In Rainbows, and you can name your own price. And people thought that it was a sonic revolution, but in actuality, it's been going on for a while. Do you think like that's where music's going to be headed now? That you're going to be able to name a price and put a price on a song, or can you even put a price on a song?
I have no idea. I don't think about stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
I'm just not. I don't. It's not even theoretically interesting to me, because I think that like Radiohead, each band has their own circumstances.
Okay.
And if you think about Radiohead, like they are in a really peculiar, like unusual position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they were faced with a dilemma, about how to get this music out. I think they had a dilemma with their labels.
Right.
They also were in a position of great power because they're an extremely popular band.
Right.
So this decision, they came up with, I think, a really crafty, creative response, which was to put this record up online, have people download it, and name their price. And I think they were banking on the fact that, by and large, fans love the band.
Right.
So it's not like a bunch of people who hate Radiohead. They're like, fuck it, 1 penny, you know what I'm saying? It's not like that.
Right.
People who are psyched about it are fans, and not only were they willing to pay for it, but I think they probably felt that the band's sort of largesse, like the fact that the band was willing to leave it up to them, probably prompted them to pay more. And in fact, there's a website, and I'm sorry that I can't think of this woman's name. She's a Canadian singer-songwriter. I think she's Canadian. And it's a name you've heard. I just can't think of it right now. But she has a website in which all of her songs, she has downloads, and all of the songs are you pay what you want. She's had this up for years.
Right.
And she has on the site a little window that basically tells people what the average price is, like what people are on average, what she's making per song. There's like some program that is always averaging out all the money that's coming in. Okay. So, I think she averages like $1.50 a song or something. Which is interesting when you think of the fact that you could buy it for, it means somebody's paying $2, right?
Right. Yeah. If you're doing yeah.
I think that's I think that she's found that if you make it clear that you're not trying to screw people, I think people are more than happy to support you. I think the major labels, however, clearly want to screw people.
Of course, yeah.
I think that the bands that are on major labels and bands that are operating in that world, they kind of get smacked down. And it's like when you see millionaire rock stars crying to the government about the fact they're being robbed by downloads, they're like, you can barely hear them because their jewelry is clacking. You just think like, well, what the fuck? It's so obvious for most people who like those bands. They're thinking about how to fill their gas tank.
Yeah. And
there's a guy who's on there talking about how he's getting robbed, and he's got more money than he could spend in a lifetime.
Right, and the $250 concert ticket, that doesn't compensate.
Exactly. So it's just, there's an absurdity to that world. Now, I think Radiohead, there was one interesting sort of aspect of this decision, which was that in the sort of, let's just say that they swung the axe, at, or the sword at the major label, somewhere it could be argued that the independent record store was standing sort of in the line of fire. They got knocked down too. There was a lot of concern that by putting this up online, that it would, of course, knock out big, box stores like your Best Buy and whatever other chains that were Walmarts and that sort of stuff, but also all the independent record stores who really
strive for it.
First off, those independent stores play such a huge role in making Radiohead the popular band they are. Those turned on hip record store people, they're the ones who really hyped the band.
Right.
Band, but they also got the word out. So the fact that they lost those sales, Radiohead's one of the bigger selling independent kind of bands, And the fact that those sales were potentially lost to the downloads was a concern. As I understand it, however, once the records were released on vinyl and CD, that the store still did gangbusters. So that's good. It all worked out fine.